office.
Hello. Sorry. Excuse me.
That's okay. And I have you on speakerphone in my office, and Willow is here as well. You can talk with her. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
So, yeah, I'm glad we can meet and at least do this over the phone for right now. But you had some questions for me and wanted to talk about some things?
I do.
Okay.
My questions, and I do have a few concerns. I have been following. I've been following his case, of course, because that's my husband. And
When did you guys get married?
August 27th, 2009.
Okay.
And I do have a birth certificate. I mean, not a birth certificate, but a marriage certificate. It's still early for me, sorry.
That's
But
okay.
I do have a marriage certificate proving that we are legitimately married.
And you
And
guys have kids, right?
yes,
How many?
two, a 14-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay.
And like I was telling Willow, and I've been trying to tell everybody else, I've been struggling with prostitution since the age of 16. Like I told Roger Smith on the day of him and his officers coming to arrest me for my intent to prostitute with the Roger Smith, whom I thought was a client. But I had told Roger Smith, that I've struggled with prostitution from the age of 16 when Demetrius Jean Bachelor had forced me into this lifestyle of prostitution. And because of my family's background of being Christians and believing in God, my family had totally disowned me once they found out at 16, 17 years old what I was doing. So that's why I have struggled with it for a very long time. I there's times that I do it, and there's times that I don't. Like I said, I've struggled with this for a while because I was introduced to it by a man that literally took me over state lines and beat me, and I've got 2 stab wounds from this man literally pimping on me. And I've tried to tell Roger Smith, that I actually know the difference between a pimp and a man that's not trying to pimp me out. And I've told him, things that pimps do and the things that my husband doesn't do. But it seems to me that Roger Smith kind of twist and turn my stories and decided to put what had occurred with me and Demetrius and try to make it seem like it was on my husband, because I literally told Roger Smith I've actually been in a pimp and pandering case. I actually was a vulnerable victim. I actually was beaten and stabbed and malnutritioned and everything. So, I try to tell them that he has nothing to do with this. I had a job. I was working at Comfort Care as a caregiver. I was going to school for nursing, and I still am. And, society doesn't understand the life of a prostitute in the underworld because, they look at us as we're just these underdog scumbags of the earth, which isn't truly fair because society doesn't know why, how, what are the reasons for a girl to enter this lifestyle. And it's not easy because the amount of money that a gal could make, and then a pretty girl on top of it could make a lot of money. Trying to transition from a prostitute to real life events in society, having a job and do things normally, is very difficult. Going from making X amount of money a day to working minimum wage and only making a couple hundred every couple of weeks, that'll get very frustrating for somebody that's trying to transition from one lifestyle to another.
How are you doing with that?
Well, I go to LifeWorks and I'm getting proper counseling, and like I said, I go to school, and I mean,
So are you working right now somewhere else other than on Backpage?
No, I actually go to school full time, and
Okay.
um,
Well, and the thing is, Jessica, I do know that through talking with the detectives that you're still, putting out your services on Backpage up in Portland area.
right. But if Roger Smith and them actually would have did the proper narcotic and prostitution sting that they had said in the police report, I know the law. I've been in trouble before. If anybody did a criminal background check, they would have known that I have an extensive criminal background of prostitution and solicitation prior to knowing Matthew Johnson Jr. You know, my thing is this: if they came for a narcotic investigation and prostitution sting, and the oxycodone was found in my purse, my belonging, and possession is 9/10 of the law, and I actually had possession, whether it was my husband's prescribed oxys or not, why did I not get charged with possession when the evidence was in my purse?
Well, you guys are husband and wife.
I still should have got charged with possession because the police officer said that they found it in my purse. If the possession of narcotic drugs was prescribed in my purse, and you guys are trying to say the reason why he can get delivered is because of his text messages, but he didn't have possession. If you guys are trying to say it's jointly, I should have got charged with possession. There's no way around it, period. I've been looking up, asking criminal defense lawyers about this because it's public.
Listen, I could have charged you with DCS.
And you didn't. You didn't. You chose what you wanted to pick and choose what to prosecute and charge me with. If you're going to charge...
Like I said, I could have charged you with possession of the prescription. It's a valid prescription to your husband. And he's in joint possession with you of that. And he's the one with the text messages trying to sell it.
But Roger Smith, let me tell you what really happened, because what it seems to me is that you don't want to believe the truth. You know, you want to subpoena me, and you only subpoena me because I sent an affidavit. I'm not stupid. Like, this is the thing that's very frustrating. Don't prosecute an innocent man that didn't pimp on me, because that's not what happened. And you just said in your own words that obviously you still feel that I'm still out here doing what I have to do. But if Roger Smith didn't get me fired from Comfort Care, then I would still have my job. But unfortunately, you guys...
How did he get you fired from that job?
Because my Comfort Care told me that I got in trouble and that I got fired because I can't do that.
So you know that Roger Smith is the one that called them and told them that?
I don't know exactly who, but I know that somebody from Marion County called my job and said that I was fired because I was participating in illegal activities such as prostitution. How would my job know what I did and where I went if nobody went down there and told them?
Well, I don't know. And I mean, everyone can look in public records and stuff. It could have been that anyone in your employment that would have looked at the public records and realized you got a conviction for the prostitution here.
But nobody even knew anything. Nobody knew nothing. Nobody knew I left the town. Not even my husband knew I left. That's my point.
Well, no, let's talk about that. You were in the hotel room with him.
Just because I was in the hotel room with him, Roger Smith said that he was hiding. If you look up the word definition, hiding, you got to be placed underneath something. The closet door wasn't even shut. This man was sick, and I knew that. Come on, I'm not a stupid girl. A lot of people underestimate my intelligence, and that's fine. This man was sick, and I knew that. I knew he was sick. He came to stop me from doing something, and it was too late because Roger Smith and the officers had knocked on the door. And what would you do when somebody knocks on the door out of panic and scared? He sat right there on the ledge of the safe inside of the closet. But nobody wants to hear it from that. People wants to think, oh, he's a pimp because he wasn't a prostitute. But did Roger Smith say how they pointed their 2 guns at my husband? Did they tell you that? Did they tell you they went through his phone illegally? Because what would you do when you have 2 guns in your hand? You're going to drop your phone, drop everything. They went through...
We already had motions on this, so a judge heard all this evidence. She heard the fact that they had to point guns at your husband coming out of the closet. They heard that he had a phone with him. The judge heard that your husband consented to the search of his phone. And and then eventually signed a consent form.
Well, I would like to see the proof in trial because at the end of the day,
that's not for you to worry about.
It is because you guys are trying to prosecute a man that you guys are trying to say he promoted me and he didn't. You just got done saying.
You and I are not going to agree on that, and that's fine.
No, because I know what you're doing.
A jury gets to hear all the evidence.
If the evidence is properly introduced, if you guys don't keep certain things out, I know how trial goes. I know how court goes.
Hey, so what do you want from me today?
You asked me. You're the one that subpoenaed me when I'm his wife. I should be asking you, what do you want me to subpoena? Because obviously you don't want to hear the truth.
I have the statements that you made that are in a police report.
That was not towards my husband. It was towards Demetrius Jean Bachelor. I told this Roger Smith, I said, you're trying to make it seem like my husband is a pimp when it's really Demetrius Jean Bachelor. This is the man that y'all should have went after. Y'all should have put this man away for a long time. I got stab wounds. My life got all fucked up because of this man. You guys want to put an innocent man that got me my GED, put me in college, got me into bed trying to better myself, but you guys don't want to see the truth because obviously it seems to me that he's a black man. You guys let me go with the slap on my hand. I've never been busted for a prostitution and not literally been hooked. I've actually had John's undercovers exchange some type of currency and then bust me and then get arrested, get booked. That didn't happen. I got cited and then left. What was the reason to arrest my husband? What did he do? I'll wait.
Yeah, he did what I charged him with. He promoted the prostitution.
He did not promote a prostitute when I myself did it. You just got done telling me now that I'm in Portland advertising my services. So if that's the case, how is he promoting me? If I'm doing it myself and I'm 27 years old, explain this to me.
Well, if you look at the definition of promoting, there's all kinds of ways that he can basically assist you in what you're doing.
He did not assist me. He doesn't even know anything about this lifestyle. I brought this to him 8 years ago.
Well, we know that he was using a computer.
That was my computer. Those are two my computers. Those are my cell phones. The room was in my name. So there's no matter what you say, I'm going to argue with you because he did not promote me. Promoting, when you guys got a search warrant for my cell phones, you guys should have gotten everything. You guys should have got all the information, all the pictures, all the graphics, all the text, all the phone numbers. Because if you guys did a thorough investigation, then you guys would have known that this man didn't have no type of emails, no type of back page posting, no type of anything on his phone advertising me. I know what goes on. I've been doing this for years. So don't tell me something about my industry that I try to survive. And this is why I get so mad about
your industry or how you're trying
because my industry is the reason why my husband is in this mess. Because you're trying to say that he's a promoter, but he's not a promoting nothing. I'm a grown ass woman. I do what the fuck I want to do when I want to do it because look how fucked up the system is. You're trying to make you're trying to make a man make it seem like he's innocent, make it seem like he's promoting me and doing all these drug intentions when he's not. You want to talk to me and you want to find out the truth, but if you want to find out the truth, make sure you do it properly. Hear from what. Don't just believe everything the police officer says, because at the end of the day, why was there not a female officer there? Why did Roger Smith and them pat me down when I didn't have no clothes on? What was the reason for them to pat me down? There wasn't any when I was already in handcuffs, so you explain that.
I don't have to explain that.
Okay, well, I will have a civil lawyer involved about all of this because that's wrong.
That's fine.
I will, because what you guys are doing is wrong.
Okay. That's how you feel, that's fine. We can disagree.
Because you're prosecuting somebody innocently, and you guys are keeping things from courts.
No, I'm not.
Obviously you are, because if I didn't give an affidavit to his lawyer trying to have a voice and make you not prosecute this innocent man, then you wouldn't have been able to subpoena me.
Yeah, I can subpoena you lawfully, which is what I did.
Without me, if I didn't show up, you wouldn't have did anything. Because you couldn't find me for 13, 14 years. Well, at least that was the excuse you told Willow, that you didn't have any contact information. But yet you know I'm on Backpage? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, the officers knew where you were, but every time they would go up there, you wouldn't open the door or you weren't home?
Because I have a life. I model. I do other things.
Okay. I'm just telling you that we knew where you were. We tried to find you, and we sent people up there to give you a subpoena and talk to you about it, and you were never there.
Well, if that was the case, then how come they sure didn't have a problem going to my office and having my manager call me down, make it seem like it was something for them? So if you really wanted to find me, you would have found me.
Well, we did.
Okay, maybe months later, years later, weeks later, and obviously me telling you what really happened, you don't really care. You just want to prosecute a black man, like everywhere else in the United States of America.
Offensive. Don't ever say that to me. I'm not a racist. That's ridiculous. I've been doing this job for 16 years.
You're not doing a good job.
I never prosecute anyone by race, and don't ever say that again to me.
Well, you need to actually hear the true facts, not just what these punk officers say, because obviously he's crooked too, because he's not telling you the full truth. Because technically,
is there anything else that you'd like to talk about right now?
So what are you subpoenaing me? Because I'm not going to go and testify, because there's nothing for me to testify on. I have a right. I have a marital right. And everyone has been telling me, I've been paying consultation fees just to ask them, what do I do with the subpoena? What are my rights? And you know what they all tell me? I have a husband and wife privilege, because that's my right as being married to my husband. We didn't get married after the May 16th. We've been married for years, and your officers did not believe us. They thought we was just lying to cover, and we was not lying. We was telling the truth, and it seems to me you don't want to hear it for what it's worth either. What is there to testify but the fact that this man didn't do anything? He didn't promote me. He didn't sell the drugs. You didn't charge me with possession, and that looks very odd. A lot of criminal defense lawyer has told me that. Why wouldn't you charge with possession if they found it in your purse? I don't know. Why don't you call the district attorney down there and ask him, because he just didn't do it. He picked and chose what he wanted to charge, and that's what it seems like.
You're considered a victim in this case.
How am I a victim? You charged me. You charged me. I was a victim to my own case, and what now? I'm a hostile witness because you feel like I'm not gonna go and testify. What am I to testify? Because obviously you don't want to hear the truth, and you still want to argue with me and believe that this man promoted me when I'm sitting here telling you something different. This is why I have a problem with the system. You guys want to claim I'm a victim, but if I'm a victim, for one, a victim doesn't get charged with prostitution when you feel that this man is the one that promoted me. I know, I've been through a case 8 years ago when I was 16 years old, a vulnerable victim, and they actually had a lot more proof and evidence than what you guys have. The case is all over the internet, all over the place. I have friends calling me about this. Why is he going to jail? Oh, because the district attorney believes that he promoted me. What? Why? Were you charged? Yes, I was charged with prostitution. Oh, well, if you're a victim, why are you charged as a prostitute? I don't know. It seems the district attorney seems to me thinks that I'm a victim when I'm not, and you just keep saying I'm the one promoting myself. So how am I a victim to a man that didn't do anything?
Okay, well, we differ on whether your husband did things or not to promote. So I have to look at the other evidence that I have. I'm hearing what you're saying.
No, you're
but
not.
I also take into account the fact that you have a bias because it's your husband.
It's not that. That's what that's the problem. You think because it's my husband and then I'm just gonna help him. That's not the case. Because if that was the situation, what did you think? For one, his public defenders and y'all should have all investigated me a long time ago if I was a supposed victim. I'm not underneath the ACP. I'm not being protected of any of that. I know, like I said, I've been through it. I was a victim for a very long time. I'm not a victim anymore. I just use this to survive because look how society is. Look at it. It's an injustice system. There's things that you don't want to see the truth. You claim evidence, but you have it here from the horse's mouth that this man did not promote me. I know the difference between a pimp and a man that's not a pimp. You don't want to believe it. And I know why you don't want to believe it. But that's fine. But at the end of the day, don't put away a man that didn't promote me.
Well, actually, I've offered him a chance at probation to not go to prison on any of this.
But you want him to be a sex offender. You want him to be a sex offender for what?
I don't want him to be a sex offender. I'm just saying that's the charge.
Isn't that the plea offer that you gave him?
I gave him the plea to the promoting and the delivery charge.
Right, and you want him to be a sex offender and then do 80 on each count. That's 160 months.
Are you listening to me? I offered him probation.
Yeah, after the first plea offer. When you told him you wanted him to do 5 years and he had to register.
His presumptive sentence is 35 to 40 months on each count. I had my initial offer when he was his first lawyer, based on his history, because he has a very bad criminal history.
Not dealing with sex crimes.
I offered him 40 months total, and then when they came to me with more information about he's willing to do classes and really wants to do probation and stuff, I offered him probation. And so that's the current offer. He has till 5 o'clock today to accept my probation offer.
Yeah, but probation and what? Just probation? Or probation and having to register as sex offender, do sex offender conditions and do penographs and all that over what? A drug? I've never heard anybody going to being charged with drugs and then having to do sex offender standards without doing a sex crime to a child or being a peeping Tom or anything dealing with any type of sexual acts. I've never seen it done. So why are you trying to make him a sex offender?
You want to listen to me?
Go ahead, talk.
Promoting prostitution by law.
There's no intent.
Sex crime. I can't change that. I don't decide that.
But can you prove that he promoted me? Because here you are, you're on the phone with me on a conference to hear my side of the story, or at least supposedly, but you don't want to listen to what I have to say because you still feel in your heart that he's a big-time pimp, and that's what you want him to be. You want him to be a pimp. You want him to go away for promoting prostitution.
No, that's not correct.
Yes, it is.
What I want. I'm doing my job.
Well, you're not doing a very good one because you have me. If I'm a victim, like you claim, then why are you not hearing from the victim's horse's mouth the fact that he's not a pimp? Why don't you go look up Demetrius Jean Batchelor and look up his background, and then why don't you compare it to Matt's? Because
Have you reported that man to the police about what he did to you?
Who? Demetrius?
Yes.
Yes, he went to jail for a case for pimping and panning. I've been through this before. This is why I'm upset, because I see the BS. It's like, this man didn't do this. He did not promote me. This man did not have, you guys don't have evidence of him posting me on Backpage or any other sites that girls go on. You guys don't have that. You guys have what the police officer says. That's hearsay. I told Roger Smith what had occurred, what a pimp does with me and Demetrius. Now, obviously, from what it seems like, he took that and switched it and made it seem like it was Matt, because I specifically gave Roger Smith an acronym. I said, I am my own pimp. P-I-M-P. Excuse my profanity, but this is what it says. Pussy is my profit. That's what pimp means. And I don't know what else to do to make you guys believe, because obviously I don't have the phone anymore that you guys destroyed for evidence to prove that he didn't promote me. He didn't do none of this stuff. There's no links of Backpage to Matthew Mayfield Johnson Jr.'s Samsung phone proving that he promoted me as a prostitute, because he doesn't know anything about that. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know that. Why do you think I've been with him for so long? Because there's times that I've stopped and I tell him, oh, I'm going to go meet up with my friends, and I really don't go meet up with my friends. I just go make some extra cash because I need it for whatever reason. But you don't want to believe that. You still think that he's a promoter. And I don't know what else to do, because he did not do this. I'm a grown woman. I do this because of myself. Not because of anybody else. Nothing. This man literally is just my husband and my kid's father. Nothing else, nothing more.
Well, the problem is that neither you or him said anything to the police about why he was there, that he had just come to rescue you and stop you from doing this, and that all of a sudden the cops showed up and he got scared and hid in the closet. You and him, none of you didn't say any of that to the police.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if they're trying to, if the charges is delivery of an oxycodone within 1,000 feet of a school zone and promoting prostitution, well, in the beginning, when I got cited and you guys arrested him, and I checked his charges. First, he had compelling, promoting prostitution, unlawful possession, and promoting prostitution. But now you only have deliver and promoting. So do you guys have actual money, currency, proving that he delivered to somebody, that he gained money from prostitution and delivery? How can a man be at two places at one time? First you say he's in the closet sitting, then you guys say he delivered. So damn, I must be married to two different Matthews, because he delivered and gained money from prostitution. But this is the catch: Roger Smith never gave me no type of currency, money, for exchange of prostitution. So like I said, you can't tell me anything about being stung on prostitution. I've been busted all over the place, so I know how it goes down. You don't just come in and say, oh, Salem police. I didn't swipe him. I opened the door and he said, Salem police, and then he put me in handcuff, and then that was it. There was no money exchange. I was not being hooked.
For prostitution, it's an agreement to pay
through text messages. But you know what? I've been busted so many times through text messages. They have to catch you in the act. Which means that an undercover comes into your room, or you go to their room 9 times out of 10, and they have you discuss money and currency for exchange of sex, and then you get busted because there's actually marked currency. You guys don't have that with Matthew, and I know that because there was no money being exchanged for me and Roger Smith. So how in the hell can you guys say that Matthew gained prostitution money when I told them that the money is put on my credit cards, my prepaid cards? Was they confiscated for evidence? No. Was my bank card took? No. You guys assumed that $1,200 was from prostitution or illegal activities, when we have a $16,000 check from an arbitration hearing for a car collision. We have checks, evidence, and all of that was his money. Okay, I went down there to do whatever. That's my business. I'm an adult. What, my husband is supposed to keep track of GPS of what I'm doing, who I'm doing, and what I'm doing? Do you do that with your wife? Do you keep track of who she talks to, what she talks about, what she do, how she do it? I don't think so. You let her be a woman. So again, just because our marriage is not like any typical normal American dream marriage does not mean that we don't have rights either. Because he didn't do anything, and you're not gonna get up on have me get on stand and testify on some things that's tricky just so you could get a prosecution. Because at the end of the day, this man did not promote me. I don't care. I'll argue to the blue in their face. He didn't promote me because it's the truth. He did not do any of that.
You have that right to say what you want on the stand. You'll be under oath.
I'm gonna I'll testify then.
Okay.
So I guess me being married, I just don't have no rights. You're just gonna force me to testify.
You're a witness as any other witness in any case.
What did I witness? I didn't witness it. Which one am I? Am I a victim or am I a witness? Because first you said I was a victim. Now you say I'm a witness. Which one is it? Am I a victim? Am I a vulnerable victim? Why am I not being protected by ACP? Why haven't you investigated me a long time ago? This is the things that I know you didn't do, because when Demetrius was going through this case, for one, he never got out of jail under promoting or compelling prostitution. This man was forced out of jail. Why? I don't know. But at the end of the day, there's some funny things going on down there, and I smell it.
Well, Marion County is very full. The jail population is so large.
Mm-hmm.
They release a lot of people. I wish they didn't. I don't think your husband should be out of custody right now, frankly.
I know, because you don't like him. You think he's a pimp. You want him to be this.
Nothing against him. I'm just doing my job.
If he was doing your job, most district attorneys have no problem talking to a victim and actually hearing the person and hearing what they really say. Because for one, if this man did this horrible things to me, why would you guys let him back into population if he's this horrible, spiteful man that just sells drugs around kids and beat on women?
And they pop release people all the time that we all think should stay in custody. They don't have enough room in Marion County Jail. That's the problem.
That's because you guys are arresting innocent people. That's why.
Okay, Ms. Johnson, we're going to get nowhere then if we're going to continue that. So is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Well, you still didn't answer my question. What was the really reason why you really subpoenaed me? Because you knew I was married.
Right, and the you're not a lawyer. I am.
You're not a lawyer, you're a district attorney.
I know my job, I know how to do it, and because you're considered a victim by the state, by me, that you don't have the marital privilege. He doesn't get to claim the marital privilege when you're an actual victim of a crime.
I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. You made me a victim because you knew we was married. Because I'm going to tell you something. I got a criminal defense lawyer right now that's been looking onto this case through Facebook. And he said this. He said, no matter what, he's not even supposed to subpoena you because, for one, you can't be a victim because they knew you was married. Regardless of the situation, we are legally married in Multnomah County prior to this.
You're married.
I don't have to testify because it's an Oregon law, Rule 505, since you are a lawyer. What about that rule? This is not a murder case. I don't have to testify. That's what you fail to realize. I know my law and I know the rights. I don't have to be a lawyer to know my rights.
Okay, well, that's not what Rule 505 says.
Yes, it does.
That is what it says in regards to exceptions to the marital privilege, is that when you're considered a victim in the case by the state, that he doesn't get to claim the privilege, nor do you.
Okay, let me ask you this. If I'm a victim, and then you think if I'm a victim, why would a victim become charged? Because a victim never charged. It's never charged. Never charged. A victim is not charged. When a person commits a crime on a victim, the victim does not get charged for a person having a crime being committed on them. So what do you have to say about that?
Ms. Johnson, prostitution is very different.
You're not answering my question. If I am...
We charge every single prostitute just like you. And we also charge the pimps. And we convict everybody because they're all doing something wrong. The fact is that you are considered a victim partially where he is still promoting you.
How is he still promoting me? We can't even see each other.
You can't do what you're doing.
He's not promoting me. So you can say that all you want.
Okay.
But he's not.
Okay. So you need to be in court.
I already know. Next Tuesday. I already know that.
Right.
But I still don't have nothing to say.
Okay, well, you'll have to tell the judge that.
Oh, I will. I have rights, and I know that. A criminal defense lawyer told me what to say to a judge.
Okay.
Because this is wrong. You're trying to make me go against my husband just so you could get paid for a prosecution.
I don't get paid for the cases I prosecute.
Okay. So you just prosecute people and not get paid?
I get paid no matter whether I win or lose a case.
Right. That's why you don't pay.
I prosecute people or dismiss cases. I still get paid the same amount of money.
This is very frustrating because it seems to me you believe your officers that are very crooked. They don't really have a very good rap sheet on themselves. And
the problem is neither do you or your husband. You both have terrible criminal histories.
I only have misdemeanors. I don't have a felony. Like I said, if society wasn't so jacked up, and maybe you guys actually look into it, not just judge us because of a stupid black and white piece of paper, maybe there would be this world would be a better place. But no, you guys want to stereotype and go off of black and white stupid pieces of paper, then actually give people credibility and chances in society. But you guys don't, because neither one of you guys got a good criminal history. Okay, and I'm very educated. That doesn't mean anything.
I'm giving him a chance.
No, you want him to be a sex offender and be around his family and kids and take probation?
I've already offered him the chance to plead to both of the counts, to do probation, not go to prison for a very long time. And I told his lawyer that he can have immediate contact with you immediate contact with your kids?
How when I'm a victim? If I'm a victim, how are you supposed to have contact with me? Look, this is what I'm saying. You the one that's getting yourself caught up because Demetrius can't have no type of contact with me if I'm a victim. And he compelled and prostituted me and took me over state line and have domestic violence. Matthew and I don't have any domestic violence on us. We don't argue and fight.
That's one of the reasons why I said I was fine with him having immediate contact.
But what about sex offender? He's got kids. How can he be around his kids if you're trying to make him do sex offender standards?
Well, if you listen to me, I said that he would have immediate contact with the kids. He is not, based on the sex crime that this is, which is promoting you, I have no reason to believe that he's a danger to children. So that's why I was fine with him having contact with the kids.
But he's still got to be a sex offender?
I also told his lawyer that he wouldn't necessarily have to do, quote, sex offender treatment. He would get an evaluation. They would determine if he needed any treatment at all in regards to that.
He's did this before. This is what I'm saying. If you guys did you guys' proper investigation that you guys like to use so much from your past experience investigations, you guys should be able to go look into, since you know our criminal history, you should have known that he went to jail last time on an unlawful weapon. And he got out and they tried to make him do sex offense because they knew I was out here doing my own thing. Because his AT ran his mouth. Oh, his wife is this or blah, blah, blah. Whatever the reason is. And see, this is what I'm saying. Why would he have to do sex offense when he did it the last time and he passed and did penographs and all of that? Why would he need to do it again? It proves that he's not a sex offender. He doesn't need sex offender treatment. He's not that type of man. Quit trying to make it seem
like... That's what I'm telling you. Is if he goes to do just an evaluation, I can't determine what his parole officer might have done to him when he got out last time. That's not up to me.
But that's because of the parole board. That's the parole board.
It's up to me now and the judge, and whether we can fashion a probation that meets his criteria.
So how long of probation are you thinking about giving him? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
3 years of probation.
On each count or just one?
It's on each count, but they run together. So it's a total of 3 years probation.
So total of 3 years of probation for both counts.
Right.
And then what? She needs to go get evaluated, see if he's a sex offender. Does he have to register? I'm trying to understand, because in society you don't want to be labeled as a sex offender.
I know, I get that, but I don't have any say in what the law is, and because promoting prostitution is listed as a sex crime by definition, then he has to register. But he doesn't necessarily have to do sex offender treatment.
But okay, so then how can you prove that he promoted me when you know I'm doing this solely? That's what I don't understand. You know I'm promoting myself and I'm doing everything myself.
I don't. I think you both are doing it.
How are we both doing it? So now my husband's a prostitute?
Oh. Jessica, we're not getting anywhere with that line of questioning.
It's not. You just got done saying I think you both are doing it. Both doing what? Prostituting? Or you think he's promoting? Because I keep telling you he's not the one doing it. He doesn't know where to post and go and do these things. That's what you don't get. If you would have looked on my Samsung phone with the pink case and did an actual proper search warrant and looked through it, y'all would have known I had more than one email account. Why did I have more than one email account? Because I was modeling. I was escorting. Personal. School. I had a USB cord. I had a laptop for school and a laptop to do illegal things. Because I'm trying to get my life right. But society and the injustice system wants to look at me like I'm a horrible person when I'm trying to make it better, but society doesn't make it any easier because they're too busy judging. So how do you expect criminals not to go backwards when you guys put us in a situation? I got off freely. I've never been on prostitution and never just got a fine. Never. I've only been on probation, had to do classes, community service. I had to do a whole 9 yards. I was like, what? $120 fine? Oh yeah, I'm out of here. Bye. I'll never come back again. But I don't want you to put away a man for you are though. You're trying to make him. You're trying to make his peers in Salem to make it seem like he promoted me when he didn't. I'm stressing this to you because it's the truth. I put this on my son, my life, on God. This man did not promote me. I brought this to him. There was times he didn't even know I knew how to do this until years down the road. I said, oh, by the way, this is where all the money's coming from. And then that's when he grilled me. It's like, oh, you don't need to be doing this. It's dangerous, and it's this, and it's that, and blah, blah, blah. And I did get a job, and I did go to school, and I did proper things. And then, like I said, making life transition is very hard when you lived it for one way for so many years because society doesn't want to give me a chance. It's not fair to me either. Because just like you said, oh, you have a very extensive background. Well, if that's how you feel, then just imagine how the people in my own backyard feel if they was to see the things that you say. And I'm not even that type of a person. I'm a very highly educated young woman. I just was around the wrong idiot that got me stuck in this lifestyle, and I don't have family support like everybody else. The only support that I have is my husband. He's tried to change me. It's not easy. You go see these nasty freaking perverts. You go see them. When you don't have family and friends and you've been isolated from the world for so long, what are you gonna do? But try to survive and make sure my kids are okay. I got back in school because I don't want my kids to be taken. I love my kids. But at the same token, too, society backs me up in a corner. I don't have the proper support that I need. And you guys are trying to take away my backbone. And it's not fair because it's my wrongdoing. It's my wrongdoing. Had I not went down to Salem to try to prostitute to make the extra $500 for my rent, he wouldn't be in this.
I hear everything you're saying. I don't disagree that you're probably a great mother and that you love your kids, but he needs to be held accountable for what.
But he didn't do it. Okay, I can understand the whole text messages and all of that, but at the end of the day, too, you have to do things through according to the law. We have constitutional rights for a reason. They didn't have a search warrant to go through his phone. They didn't. They put him at gunpoint. He dropped his phone. He didn't even do anything. What would you do if you had two officers with guns in your face, knowing that you're black and what's been going on in the world? Officers killing black folks. Would you be kind of scared? Would you? Having two guns in your face, wouldn't you be a little bit freaked out? You're not going to just, I'm going to go through my phone, screw the officers. You're not going to do that. You're going to stop, drop everything, put your hands up. And that's what happened. I mean, if they're going to tell the truth, the officers need to tell the truth and not manipulate their authority. Because if that's the case, then, they kept the whole lot out. There was no female officers to frisk me or arrest me. None of that. It was all male officers. And I think that's very strange. You're coming to a prostitution sting, but there's no female officers. I've never been busted for prostitution, not one female officers there. Why would they need to touch me and frisk me down? I had nothing on but a fishnet that was see-through, and you see everything. You could see my tits and everything. What was the reason for them to touch me? Why did they need to arrest him? He didn't do anything. They came for me. The probable cause was me because I text Roger Smith. That was me doing, not him. He just came there trying to tell me something, and I didn't tell him the truth. I didn't tell him.
Did he know where you were?
Actually, no, he really didn't know I was. I went down there with my friend Angela, who's another girl that does the same thing what I do. And because he knew Angela, he didn't know that she did the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Just because you married does not mean you know everything from your spouse.
How did he know where you were to go find you at that hotel room that day?
I called him and told him where I was because he knew what time I got off the school and I wasn't home. Angela had came and got me, and I already went down to Salem. I already had this pre-planned beforehand. That's what people's not understanding. When I went there, yes, Angela and I, we was drinking, we was smoking, getting high, whatever. I didn't tell my husband that. I was very flustered with life. Going to work, working all these hours and barely making anything. Going to school, working my butt off in financial aids, barely pushing anything. You would get a little frustrated too. I was doing good for 6 months, not posting, not doing anything. And then I came to a time where economy fell and I didn't have the help and I got scared and frustrated. I didn't want to lose everything. So I took a chance. And look what taking a chance got me. But sometimes in life you have to take a chance. It's not like society's going to help me. It's not like society wants to hear the truth. Nobody does. They all want to judge people. That's what's wrong with this world.
That's good, but there's all kinds of resources, even that our office offers, for for people that are, even homeless that need help with kids. I mean, there's ways to do things to survive other than what you're doing.
But
and I get the whole thing where, well, God, I can make a ton of money doing this real quick, and so I get that struggle that you have. But there's always a different way to do something different than what you're doing and still survive. There's resources out there.
Yeah, but you're still, no matter, you know what, the thing is, people always say there's resources, and every time I go to the resources, I always get let down. Always. I go to LifeWorks and try to do certain things, and I tell them I need this and I need that. No matter what, it's always something, and that's why there's criminals, and that's why prostitutes or girls that are not really prostitutes or not. I don't have a drug habit. I don't have none of that. I'm just trying to survive and get out of a lifestyle that I've been stuck in for 10 damn years.
And I want you to get out of it, Jessica.
But at the same token too, what's frustrating is I got a man involved in my mess, and it hurts me more because you guys feel that he's a promoter in my prostitution activity, and that's not the case. It's not the case. You might think that I'm trying to save him or whatever, but that it's not. That's not the situation. It's actually the truth. Just because he was there, I understand from you guys' perspective, walking in a room, your wife is in a fishnet, but you're sitting in the closet. I understand from your perspective, it looks funny. But if you're going to investigate, make sure you investigate it thoroughly. And I'm telling you, that's not...
Part of the problem is for him is that he did make certain statements to the police.
This man was being poisoned, though, Doug. You don't understand. This man, okay... I go to school to become a nurse, okay? I was a caregiver. I know a lot about medicine because my whole family is nothing but nurses and doctors, so I know a lot about medicine. This is the honest God truth. This man has a family history of diabetic. His grandma and his dad was the diabetics. So when he went to go to this lady, Christy, for a physician to get tested to see what was wrong with his blood sugars, she assumed because of his family history that he was a diabetic. Instead of doing further tests that I thought that she would, she just started giving him the metformin pill. A metformin pill is a pill that is like insulin, because Matt is extremely scared of needles. He doesn't like needles, he doesn't like anything of that aspect. So I've been to all his doctors. I've been catching up with him because I'm going to become a nurse. So, these things I like to know. And this man has been taking these pills prior to him coming down to Salem. This man's been taking this medicine for twice a day, like 5-6 days prior to the event that had occurred on May 16, 2014. He was extremely sick. He was losing weight. He wasn't eating. He was throwing up. He had chills. He would have fevers up and down. And I know it's kind of wrong on my behalf. I shouldn't have manipulated the situation and leave him knowing that he was sick or whatever. But at the same token too, I needed a break. I'm human too, I needed a break. I got frustrated with work. I got frustrated with school. Homework was piling up. Papers was due. Rent was due. Bills was due. You would get a little frustrated too. It's life. I'm human, and I'm trying to do things right and make transitions. But at the same token, I was like, screw it. I'm going to make my life easier. At least, I thought I was making my life easier by going down there and make a quick couple hundred and come back, but it didn't happen like that. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep stressing this because it's the truth. He didn't have nothing to do with me advertising. I went down there myself. I knew what I was doing. I knew the chances. I knew that it was gonna be a misdemeanor, book in and out, probation, community service. I knew that, and I was like, okay, whatever. I get caught, whatever. But at the end of the day, he didn't. Don't make it seem like to the jury that this man is the reason why he promoted me, because that's a lie. I'm not a victim in this situation, because a victim doesn't get charged with a crime, because a crime was committed to the victim, not the victim committed a crime. Now I called the Marion victim assistance line because I wanted to know why I couldn't be around him, why I couldn't do certain things, why was there no contact order, there's no domestic violence, I didn't put no restraining order. So I wanted to know answers. His attorneys wasn't talking to me, which I don't know why, but So I dug up, and then once I found out from a friend that told me, she goes, "Girl, why is your information? Why is everybody talking about you on Facebook on prostitution stings and this and that?" And then I got to thinking, I don't know, what are you talking about? And that's when I found out about the page of him putting his whole investigation and crimes and everything that had happened. You know, it's not fair that you guys are trying to say he promoted me, because at the end of the day, he didn't know what the hell was going on. When you're being poisoned and drugged, and these pills are making your body not do its job, he wasn't a diabetic. So the pills counteracted with what he was supposed to do, and it made him extremely sick. And I knew that.
Yeah, Jessica, we knew that. And at a hearing we had a week ago, his lawyer had his doctor come in to testify to the judge about that, about the fact that he was on this medication, it can have these side effects. Yes, he was nauseous. Yes, he threw up at the hotel, but it didn't impair his ability to actually talk to police officers and give a statement. And so that's what the judge found. Was like, yeah, I agree. He was sick and not feeling well, and these are side effects of the medication. But still, he knew what he was saying. It wasn't like he was completely out of it, like if someone's wasted or high or something. I mean, he had a very fluid conversation with the officer back and forth.
So I have a question. Why was my OMMP card taken from the police officer when I'm covered through the federal for having my marijuana card? And why did you...
I didn't even know that they took your medical marijuana card.
Oh, see, exactly my point. The officers are crooked.
No,
yes.
They just don't. I don't get that notice.
Well,
that's not part of the case I get in the DA's office.
Well, they
do all kinds of stuff with what legally they're supposed to do that I never know about.
Well,
DA's office case. So if they took your medical marijuana card, I mean, I guess they have their
it
own
says it on.
I don't know. Have you tried to get it back?
I've tried to, and I can't because you guys flagged it for whatever reason.
Might be a condition of probation that you can't have a card.
I'm not on probation. I'm not on any type of criminal situation.
Mm-hmm. I would call them back, Jessica, to say, look, I'm not on probation. I got a conviction for this, but there's no valid court order that you know of that says you can't have your medical marijuana card.
Yeah, because I thought I was trying to go renew, and they said, well, we can't renew it. And I'm like, well, why? They're like, well, it's been flagged. And I'm like, why has it been flagged? They said something to do with the police, or you've been convicted. I'm like, well, I was convicted, but I don't know, drug charge, only for prostitution, and that has nothing to do with my marijuana card. And I was covered by the OMMP, you know, through the doctors, because I have my own medical and everything as well. And I was just curious in why that was taken from me.
Yeah, I don't know that, Jessica, but I would call back the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program and say, who can I talk to about getting this unflagged, and what do I need to do? And maybe it's calling Salem Police Department and saying, hey, you know, is there a reason you still have my card? Can I get it back?
Yeah, because it was when the judge gave me, you know, when the judge, you stand in front of the judge, they give you a paperwork, and it's checked off. And that's why I figured maybe you might have known, because since it was already checked off that my OMMP, it said not to participate in OMMP, but I'm not on,
You're not on probation, though?
No.
So I don't know why there would be any restrictions.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well, call the program back, and then call Salem PD back, and then if you get nowhere, call me, and I can try to look into it. But again, they don't give that information.
Oh, okay. Well, so I just have another question. So, what are the type of the questions that you're going to ask me on trial or in trial?
Well, really, it's kind of like, you know, just like telling the story. I tell every witness that. I'm like, I just want the truth. I want whatever you remember, the sequence of events happening, what you were doing on Backpage, how you met the officer, you didn't know he was an officer, and then you end up setting this meeting up at the hotel, and what happened there, your statements. I have all your statements that are listed in the police report, and you may differ from that, and so if you don't recall something, that's fine to say. If you don't know something, that's
But one thing I do know that I didn't say to Roger Smith is I never said that my husband that my husband and I have signals and stuff like that, because he doesn't even know what the hell I do half the time that I'm gone. I don't tell him where I'm going. So when he said that, I said that me and him had signals of me and him. For one, my husband was sick, so there was nothing that he could really do because his body was so weak. Two, I don't have no type of signals. Like, I don't tell him. I go do what I do and that's it. So I thought that was very strange for him to say that I told him that we had three signals, and that's not true. I never said anything like that.
Well, I'll say this, that from what I've seen in the police reports and talked to the detectives, your husband kind of indicated that there were, reasons why he would be there on occasion, and that he would sometimes get involved in the sex acts, and that he'd be there in case things got crazy, and he'd be, able to get out and stop something from happening.
Why? I don't think... I know Look, when he was in the bathroom, I was in the chair, and I could hear conversations with him, and he didn't really say anything like that. That's not what he had said.
Well, I heard that they had taken you away at some point, and
No, they didn't. No, I'm gonna tell you what happened. When they put me under arrest, I was sitting in the chair, and they put him in the bathroom, and the door was still open, and I could hear.
They took you away at some point, right?
No, we was in the same hotel room the whole time. The whole time we was in the same room. He was in the bathroom, and I was on the bed by the chair, and we never ever. The only time we separated is when they took him to jail and they cited me and told me to go.
Yeah. So I know that the officers testified that one of the officers was in the bathroom with him for a very long time.
Yeah. There was only one officer in the bathroom with him while everybody was going in and out, looking through my laptop.
And Officer Hernandez was the one that was with your husband.
Well, there were so many of them, I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but that's the one who was there. He testified at the last hearing about his conversations with your husband, and he according to everything he said, it matched the police report that he wrote, and it even indicated that at one point your husband did get sick and had to throw up in the toilet.
Yeah, and everybody rushed in there thinking that they was fighting when he wasn't, and that's when they took him to jail and cited me, and that was the case. That was it.
Yeah. But so there was a lot of conversation that took place between the...
But I do have one major thing. The police officers did something wrong, because I specifically told them, what are you here for? And you have everything that you need, so you might as well go ahead and book me. Why didn't they book me right then and there when I told them that?
A lot of times...
Isn't that...
and I'll be honest, just like I said, our Marion County jail is so full that you would have been released in a heartbeat.
That's fine. That's fine. Book me, release me, do whatever. But at the end of the day, I still asked to be booked to have a representative, and they didn't do that. So what's the point of reading me my Miranda rights, and then when I tell you, what are you here for? Why are you booking me? Whatever. Why won't you book me? I told you have everything you need. What are you booking me for? So go ahead and book me. They didn't do that. Whether the population was not, the point is when you said I have the right to remain silent, anything and everything can and will be used against me in a court of law, and if I can't afford a representative, one will be appointed through me through the court of laws. I told them, go ahead, book me. You have everything you need. They were supposed to stop the investigation right there and then book me. Why didn't they?
So they had cuffed you, and at that point you're technically in their custody, and so then they have to, if they're going to question you, they have to read you your Miranda rights, which they did. And,
yeah, after 30 minutes later.
At the end of the time with you to either take you in or just give you a citation to appear in court. And so they just cited you into court for, usually it's about 30 days out from the date of the incident.
Yeah.
So it's probably when you went to court.
June 13th of 2014.
Yeah. So that's very common, especially on any misdemeanor charge. Unless it's a mandatory arrest on a domestic violence charge, they'll cite people into court.
I've never been cited for prostitution. I've always been booked in and then got recogged out later.
Well, it's probably based on the county that you're in.
Everywhere. I've been all over this world and never been cited. Salem was the first time out of 10 years of me ever being busted that I was ever cited. And I thought that was strange. I'm like, I'm being cited? What? Okay, I committed the crime and I don't have to go to jail.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Well, and like I said, it's probably from your experiences in other counties and stuff, it's different, but it's very common here to just get a citation.
For a misdemeanor, any misdemeanor, or just a prostitution misdemeanor citation?
Oh, most misdemeanors get cited, and except mandatory arrest on misdemeanor assault for and domestic violence. They have to arrest by law. And I think the new Dewey statute changed too, where they have to actually take them in and book them on a DUII. But they usually get released as well by the staff to the release office.
So I just have to show up to court next Tuesday. And my biggest thing is, how am I going to get down there when I don't drive? Legally. That is.
How did you get down here before?
I was down there with a friend.
Okay. Is there any way you can have a friend drive you down here?
She's not even here. That's the thing, because I've been trying to call her, and she's not even in town. And I've tried to call my mom, or my stepmom and my dad, but they're not going to talk to me. They're not going to do any. They don't even deal with me because of my activities or whatever. But
who's going to watch your kids while you're here?
My brother. I had to tell my brother to take a day off of work just so he could watch them.
Mm-hmm. And do you not have a driver's license?
No.
Okay.
It's suspended.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, I was just going to say, I was trying to figure out why you couldn't make it down here. Do you not have a vehicle either?
No, I don't have a car. All I did was take the bus everywhere here because everything is so close by. I never really needed a car.
To pay for, because I think you said you can take the Max from your place into downtown Portland, right?
Yes, the Max will take me straight to downtown Portland, yeah.
You'll be able to catch a Greyhound or the train down here to Salem from Portland?
I guess if I have to, I'm going to have to. But then the thing is this, I'm going to have to take a taxi from the Greyhound to the courthouse unless they have a bus that goes from the Greyhound to the courthouse.
We could probably get a taxi for you from the train station isn't very far from downtown Salem, and I think the Greyhound bus might even be, actually I think the Greyhound stops at the same place as the bus station, which is probably less than a mile from the courthouse.
Yeah, I'm going to just have to look it up on the internet to see exactly where it's at, because I know I can't be late for something like that, because I do not need a warrant for my arrest. I'm so petty.
If you can check the schedule for that, and then let us know what time what time you need to be here in Salem.
Because I know it says this is half hour prior to meet you at your office before 9 o'clock.
Right, that's standard for every witness who gets a subpoena. If you can be here by 9, that would be good. And why I say that is that's when the trial actually starts. And so Judge Tripp, who's our judge, she'll want to make sure that before we start selecting a jury, that everyone's there and ready to go.
Okay.
So Willow can stay in contact with you, Jessica, about arrangements to get here and work with you with that. And then if you're here by 9 o'clock, and Willow can meet you and take you over to the courthouse where we're going to be. It's right across the street from our building.
So if you can find a bus or train that gets you to Salem by 8:30 or 8:45, then we can have a taxi pick you up and bring you here.
Okay.
And Jessica, it's clearly up to your husband and his lawyer. They're talking about the offer I've made, so his lawyer knows to get back to me by 5 o'clock today. That's the deadline to accept the offer. If he does decide to accept that, we'll call you and let you know what's going on. If he doesn't his lawyer doesn't call me by 5 today, then I'm expecting we're going to go to trial.
Okay.
So he has till the end of the day to accept this offer of probation.
Okay.
So we'll be in touch, and we'll let you know what, if anything, we hear from them by 5 today.
I can be in touch with you in the next couple of days to talk about if anything's changed, and if it hasn't, then about transportation for trial day.
Okay. I guess we'll probably end up going to trial. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, and it's not just, my decision, Jessica. I mean, we staff these cases with our team in our office and stuff, and so, this is the best that we're going to offer, because we have to compare it to other cases we do and treat everyone the same in the same circumstances, and so we compare cases and everything, and so this is what the offer is. His lawyer's actually done a really good job for him trying to get me to do something different, and I've staffed those with our team, and then this is where we ended up.
Honestly, I mean, knowing from his being in prison and knowing how he is and stuff, I mean, I could see if it was just probation without the sex offender things, I'm pretty sure he would have taken it in a heartbeat. But because, like, the whole sex offender things, I think that's probably what's really bugging him the most, because, being a sex offender and still, certain things just doesn't make sense to him, is what I'm probably assuming, because I had the same question. You wanted probation but then be a sex offender and can't be around his kids, and like that kind of plays on a person's mind. So if he was to take probation, he would have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life.
I don't know that it's a lifetime registration. I think depending on the charge, and his lawyer can go over that with him, that's what she's supposed to do. But there is relief from registration after so many years, I think, and it just depends on the crime. But I imagine because it's a C felony, that he could end up probably getting something off of his record. But it's probably several years, 5-10 years or something.
Right, and nobody wants that on their record.
Oh, I know.
So
the thing is, though, I even told his lawyer I would work with him in regards to what treatment, if any, he would need to do. Because I do understand it's not our classic, like, sex abuse case involving, like, children or something. And so I said, if you want to get an evaluation, we can look at that. And if it doesn't seem like he needs the normal, quote, sex offender treatment package, then we wouldn't do that.
I think he's probably the whole reason why I think Matt is really probably going to take this to trial normally, because I mean, I'm pretty sure he knows about the system. He's been to prison twice, so I would assume he knows how the law and everything goes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to being a sex offender, I know how he feels about that, because I remember being on jail calls and him making certain comments. So I know exactly how he feels about that whole sex offender things, and by him being a father and having kids, that's why I know I'm very emotional and very sensitive, and this is very stressful for everybody. But the same token, I would fight to go to trial too if I had to be labeled as a sex offender, because that's really not a good society outlook. That's very like, oh, you're a sex offender? Oh, great. What are you, peeping Tom? What are you going to say something to me? Oh, what, are you going to molest my kids? Because people are very judgmental in this world. I know that. I'm a very attractive young gal. I'm very intelligent, but people look at me, oh, you're a prostitute? Oh my God, yeah. So I understand the judgment and the feelings, and it's not a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, and I get that, and that's been a big hang-up that his lawyers told me about, is he doesn't want to have to register, and again, we've staffed that heavily in our office about this case and comparing it to other cases, and by law, we can't change the promoting prostitution, even if we charge them with an attempted promoting prostitution. Any attempt of those crimes is also a registrable offense. So, I mean, we've looked at all kinds of scenarios to see if we can do something different. But that's the charge. That's what it is. And like I said, I told him I'm fine with him going home immediately with you, helping with the kids, all that, and then deciding whether he really needs, the typical sex offender treatment package.
Right, but I mean, knowing how he is, if this has been going on for like 13, 14 months, it's been going on for a while, and
well, he's gone through, it's taken so long because Neil Ryder, I think, is like his 6th attorney on the case.
Yeah, after what I looked through online of his Facebook stuff and all what's been going on, it's been kind of a whirlwind. Like, whew.
Yeah. Well, and I think at our last hearing, after the hearing, when really the judge agreed with me and the state's position on their motion, I think his lawyer was like, look, the state won all those motions, so you're not going to get to talk about this. You can't, whatever it was. She had a long talk with him about it and trying to get him to realize, look, if you go to trial with a jury and they convict you, you're definitely going to prison. And then going to prison with a sex offender jacket on. And this way, he won't have to go to prison. Yes, he'll be a registered sex offender. He can look at filing for relief from that at some point, but he'll be out. He won't, and so I know how it is. I mean, if you're a sex offender in prison, you're the lowest of the low, and it's a tough life in there. But that's what's going to happen to him if he goes to trial and he's convicted by a jury.
Yeah, but you guys are trying to get him to be sex offender because you guys feel that he promoted me or whatever statements you guys are trying to use or whatever. I mean, I'm telling you for myself, from a victim's point of view, since you say you know the law, you do this, and this is your job, well, you should know from a victim's stance that you should be able to believe the victim. I'm telling you myself. I have not been pimped out.
I'm not disagreeing with you that you probably have done this your whole life, and...
I have. You should have looked up my criminal background. You should see all I have is nothing but prostitution.
Yeah. Well, and so I get that you do a lot of your own stuff and put yourself out there on that page and answer emails and text people and all that stuff. It's all you. But what the evidence that I have here from the detectives and everything else and statements from your husband, and the stuff that was found and the text messages that were found and, all of that, he is assisting in all of that. And that's the evidence that I have, and I have to use that. I have to go forward with that.
How is he assisting me? That's the part that I'm so confused on. How is he assisting me when I'm the one that's promoting and advertising and going on photo shoots and I'm the one that's doing all of this. I'm the one that's advertising and promoting myself. So how is he partake in this? That's the part that I'm not understanding. How does he have any type of initiative in dealing with my illegal activity in prostitution?
Well, even just based on some of his own comments, that he was there, he goes there with you, he will protect if he needs to, and sometimes he will engage in some of the stuff with you and the client. So all of those statements that you made.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think they're getting the two men mixed up because Demetrius is the one that had partaken, and I've told the officers that Demetrius had partaken in things. He promoted me. He, sent me on the streets.
The detective that was talking to your husband, it was Hernandez, and he's the one that took down everything that your husband said. So those are all, and it's in his report, and it's in quotes, and it's very detailed about what your husband specifically told Hernandez what he did. And he even said, I call myself P, stands for pimp. People expect that of me, so I just call myself a pimp.
No, I know that's not true because my husband would never call himself a pimp. He doesn't even talk like that. And that's really strange because that's not him. That's not who he is. He's not a...
Well, I don't think he was being proud of it when they questioned him. I think he was like, yeah, okay, I use P and stands for pimp, and people expect that of me, I guess. So I don't think he was like, yeah, I'm a pimp. I don't think he was doing it like that. I think he was just, when they said, hey, what does this P stand for on your phone, and he finally comes clean with what it means, and so yeah, those are some of his own statements.
So what, are they going to use all these text messages and the evidence in the jury to say that this is what he is? Because that's what it seems like to me.
All of that stuff's coming in. All of his statements, all of your statements, all the evidence, the text messages, we have all of that.
Well, that's...
So, the detectives and everyone that did their investigation, they're going to be talking about what they found on the phones and laptops and all that stuff.
Well, the laptops was mine. I even have proof from Aaron's that I have right now to show that I'm the one that purchased it and it's my laptops. I went to go get 2 different laptops because I thought one was going to break on me, and it had a double battery, but I found that's when I had by the time I found that out that I could get my laptop fixed, I had already purchased another laptop. So I was like, oh, screw it, whatever. I just have 2 laptops. And and I had multiple I had 2 phones, and if you've dealt with prostitutes, then you should know they have a lot of different numbers, a lot of different phones, a lot of different everything, and this is the thing I think is kind of odd. I didn't have any calls when I was down there in Salem. I had posted on Backpage, yes, I had text messages, but I didn't have no money on me. I myself didn't have any money because I just got down there. And when he seen my post the next day, which was that early Friday morning, and he still contacted me from the night before, trying to, oh, I'm sorry, my wife, that BS run down game that he gave, which I knew all tricks say. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And the thing that's kind of funny is that we had discussed money, but he was the one that said, oh, I'll give you extra, and I'll do this, and that's just like he was the one that was engaging it more than I was. I might have agreed, but there was no money, there was no transfer. They didn't find any money on me or in my purse or anything like that. I haven't hit any licks, so I'm not understanding how did he get $840 when there was no $840. I didn't have no calls prior.
Well,
I didn't have no.
Bucks is what your husband had on him.
But that's his money with his own check. That's $1,290 of his own. So I'm not understanding why isn't his representative supposedly isn't entering evidence of him having an actual check from an actual civil lawyer named Merkel, which is our lawyer. He's the one that gave us our checks because we both had a check cut out. But
she might be. I don't know. They don't have to always share that with me. So a lot of their case, they don't have to share that with me. They have to tell me who their witnesses are going to be. They have to, before they offer an exhibit into evidence, they have to show it to me.
Well, I know I'm not her witness because she hasn't contacted me not one time, and I've given her an affidavit, and she hasn't said nothing to me. So I don't know what's going on. That's why I'm so lost, because it's like.
Well, and part of the reason that she may not want to call you or call you as even a witness in the case is that she knows that regardless of what you say in court under oath, if it differs a little bit, all the police officers will get to say exactly what they wrote down in their report of what you said. And so they're going to be testifying to that, and so she'll be like, well, I don't know that it's necessary that I call his wife. She knows that I'm calling you, so probably when and how that works is...
It's cross-examination, I know that.
And she'll cross-examine you, and we'll go back and forth until we're done, and then you'll be free to go.
And then I would have to leave and not be able to stay for the trial, right? Because I'm a witness victim?
Yeah, I mean, typically they call it excluding witnesses. So you're only supposed to be in there when you're testifying. But even same with all the police officers. They don't get to be in there to listen to all the testimony. They only get to be in there when they're testifying.
So what kind of questions should I be prepared for? Because I've never been to trial. I've never had to take...
Like I said, it's just kind of like telling the story. I mean, we'll have to ask you sort of pointed questions. I'll have to, I can't lead you. So what I have to do is say, well, tell us what you were doing on this day. Did you end up texting someone that you later determined or knew was a detective? Yeah, what do you do? And you'll have to just tell people the truth about, I go on Backpage, I was soliciting this, I set up a meet with this guy at the hotel, and this is what happened. And then I'll go through with you all the statements that I have in a police report that you made to the police. I'll ask you, did you say this? Do you remember saying this? And you just got to answer truthfully. And if the answer is, I don't know, or I don't remember, that's fine. But you are under oath. You'll have to tell the truth about, if it is something that you said, just tell the truth and own up to it.
Right, but this is the thing. If I tell the truth, does it mean that they're not going to believe it? Because everybody always wants to seem that officers are always right. And the thing is that I could have said something, but they could have tried to make it seem like it was pointing towards my husband because they found him in a closet. But that wasn't the situation. I was trying to explain to the officers the differences between a real pimp and my husband. So that's where part I'm kind of stuck on, because it's tricky. I know what I said in the police report. I see the police report. It's all over internet. It's everywhere, and that's the thing. Like, I see certain things that they said. I never once told them that we had a signal, because my husband is not with me 500 damn times. He is not. For one, he was locked up. Two, I don't tell him everything that I do. I know it might sound wrong, and I'm supposed to be his wife and the mother of his kids and all that, but, I'm a grown woman, and I'm going to do what the hell I want to do, period. I'm going to make sure I'm fine. I'm going to have my own decisions and do what I want. He can't stop me, and nobody can't, unless I'm in jail, but even then, that's just how I am. I'm very self-sufficient. I'm very independent. I depend on myself because I feel like I can't trust and depend on others. So I feel like I do what's necessary. And it's not like I could get on a stand and actually just tell them the story and what happened and why I was there and what got to me and what made me go there and how did I get into this lifestyle, because to me, it's like I feel like people are already going to judge, oh, she's a prostitute. She doesn't know how to get a job, or she doesn't this, or she's not educated. And when in actuality, that's totally the opposite. I'm a very smart student. I'm a 3.5 GPA student. I just like I said, I just been around the wrong kind of idiot, and the guy took the fact that I ran away from home because home was very not right. It was very broken. And this man forced me into this lifestyle. And I was trying to explain to Roger Smith, I know you're trying to interview me to use these information, try to use against me. I'm not stupid. I know how the law works. I know how police work. I know you guys can twist and turn things. I know people are going to think that your credibility is more than mine because they're going to look at my criminal background, and she's got extensive history, criminal background of prostitution. I know how the game goes, like I said. But the same token, is it going to be able to be questions that I'm going to be able to explain, or is it going to be just yes or no questions?
No, you'll be able to explain certain things. Some things the judge might say is not relevant, so we have to only deal with relevant evidence, and that's a term by law. So
what does that mean?
Not relevant to the case against your husband. They might say, yeah, there might be a bunch of truth to a bunch of things, but it might not be relevant to this case. So that's going to be up to the judge. The defense attorney, she can ask you too. She'll so you said yes to that question. Can you please explain that? And you'll be able to explain it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm not trying to twist anything. I mean, I'm not going to try to trick you or anything. I'm just going to be going through the police report. I'm going to ask you what happened. I'm going to ask you maybe statements. And it is what it is. And at the end of the day, a jury will decide whether he's guilty or not.
Right.
Now, if he decides to testify,
he's
his
testifying?
Convictions for those felonies he went to prison on, the jury, by law, gets to know that.
So he's getting on the stand to testify too?
I don't know. That's up to him. That's up to him and his lawyer to decide.
Oh.
And then ultimately, actually, it's up to him. Even if his lawyer doesn't want him to testify, he can say, I want to. Or if his lawyer wants him to, he can say, no, I'm not testifying.
Oh.
So that's completely up to him. That's his right to testify or not. And he doesn't have to decide that until, really, the end of their case.
Oh.
So he might say, let's see how the trial goes. Let's see if I think I need to say something, or let's see if I shouldn't say something.
Oh, so he doesn't have to say if he wants to testify until the day of the trial?
Right. Well, even all the way almost through the trial. Like, so I present my case first.
Right.
I put all my witnesses on. I rest. And then they get to put their case on, and that could be whoever. I mean, whatever evidence they want to put on or whatever witnesses they want to put on. And he could be the last witness, and he doesn't have to decide until the very end.
Oh. Well, I don't know.
So he might say, well, I know if I testify that jury's going to hear that I was convicted of I think it was a robbery and an assault or something. Went to prison on that. And so they're going to hear about any felony conviction he has that occurred within the last 15 years. And by law, the judge tells the jury that goes to whether you want to find him credible or not. So it does specifically say, just because he has these prior convictions doesn't mean he's guilty of this crime. It just says you can use that to decide if you find him a credible witness or not.
But his criminal background, his criminal history, is only dealing with a robbery for the 5 years that he did, and he went to McLaren and a little bit in upstate. And then the second one, which I was with him for the whole time, was for the unlawful use of a weapon, which they gave him 18 months to 2 years. So I don't understand how can I don't understand how he can have a prior sanctions when he's never been sanctioned for a sex crime before. It's only been he deals with weapons. That's what he deals with. He likes to play with guns. That's his background history, robbing and playing with guns. I don't see where he doesn't have a criminal history of any type of sexual crimes. So
right. Yeah, that doesn't matter. If he did, that would come in as well. But so if you have any, and that's not just for the defendant, it's any witness. So any witness at all who decides to testify or has to testify, if they have any felony conviction within the last 15 years, then the jury gets to hear about that. And the jury's told, you can consider those convictions to determine the credibility of the witness.
So it's kind of like using his criminal history to decide on whether this person is guilty or something. Is that what you're trying to kind of say?
No, not whether they're guilty. It says, jury, you get to decide if you want to believe him or not. So you heard from him, he testified, and because he testified, you get to know about these convictions, and based on those felony convictions, you can say, do we find him credible or not?
Oh, okay. So you guys are trying to say, well, just because... Okay, I understand what you're saying. The jury they can... Excuse me. I've been yelling at my kids, so I kind of lost my voice a little bit. So what you're saying is that if he decides to take the stand to testify on his behalf, the jury, which are his peers that whether find him guilty or not, would decide whether his testimony on the stand is credible based on his criminal history, correct?
Yes. They get to use his criminal history to help them decide if he was credible.
Okay.
If they believed him.
Okay.
Among other things. I mean, if he says stuff, and if he testifies, I'll be cross-examining him about all the statements that he made to the detective.
Right.
And he can agree or disagree with those.
Right. So at the end, it's based on the jury that whether they convict him or not?
Yeah, a jury will decide. They're the ones that get to decide if he's guilty at the end of the day. They'll go back after the case is completely done. We'll do closing arguments, and then the jury goes back to their jury room, and no one is in there except the jury. So I'm not in there, the defense attorney's not in there, he's not in there, the judge is not in there. It's just the 12 jurors that then talk amongst themselves in a private room and decide whether the state proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt, whether he's guilty.
Oh, so we're just...
And then they come out and tell the judge what the verdict is. It could be not guilty, it could be guilty. It's just, it's just going to be based on the evidence.
So if they find him not guilty, is he going to receive his $1,290 back since he's not convicted of being guilty of a crime?
Most likely, all the property would be returned if he's found not guilty.
Okay. I was just wondering. I never knew how it worked. That's why I asked that. I never knew.
So, like I said, it's up to the jury. We're set for 2 days, actually. I don't know what's going to take 2 days, but we're set for the 14th and the 15th for now, just to make sure we had enough time. But you would be testifying on the 14th. I would have you testify on the first day.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's like I said, if he doesn't testify, then they will not get to hear about his prior convictions.
Oh, so if he doesn't testify, the jury doesn't know about his past criminal charges.
Right.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, because it's all about whether he's credible. So, if he doesn't testify, and the jury's told that they can't hold that against him, then they don't get to know about his prior criminal history.
So they're just only there just to hear what's going on with the criminal case at the moment.
Right.
Ah, it seems so complex.
There's a lot of rules we have to follow in court.
So does the jury have rules that they are given, or do they already know the rules? Do they know what type of case they're coming into to listen to trial?
Yeah, so how it works is during jury selection, there's a ton of people that are called in for jury duty. They're going to be brought into the courtroom, and we do what's called jury selection, where the defense attorney goes first. She gets to ask a bunch of questions of the jurors. I get to ask a bunch of questions of the jurors. And then we'll decide. They're kind of put in an order, and we have so many what we call bumps that we can use. So I can bump a certain person if I think that they might not be fair and impartial. Same with the defense attorney. She can do the same. So based on the question, so they'll get to hear from the judge what the charges are initially. And some jurors will say, hey, I don't think I can be fair on this case because, my daughter was into prostitution and I couldn't get her out, and I don't think I can sit and hear this case. So sometimes the judge will let people go just because it's going to be too much of a hardship for them to sit. But at the end of the jury selection, we'll have 12 or 13 people that will be sitting in the jury box that will be our trial jury. And they'll get to hear all the evidence and see all the evidence, and at the end of the day, it's their decision whether he's found guilty or not.
Okay, it's only a couple days away.
Yep, I know. And as I said, he has till 5 o'clock today to either decline or accept my offer.
Well, if I could have talked to him, I would have told him the situation, but I can't talk to him at the moment, so it's kind of...
Yeah, I know.
It's not
You're free to call his lawyer and talk with her.
I've tried calling her. She don't call me back.
Well, you might... What I can say is if you wanted to talk with her, and you called and got her voicemail, I know she gets that. You could just leave a voicemail that, about what you and I spoke about and what your thoughts were, or what you wanted to let her know. I need to be very clear, though, with you, Jessica, that I can't talk to him. I'm not allowed to talk to him because he's a represented individual. He has a lawyer.
Right.
And I'm prosecuting him, so I can't talk to him. I can't communicate with him. And so I want to make it clear to you that I'm not asking you to call and give a message to him or anything.
Right.
It's completely up to you whether you want to call and leave a message for his lawyer about your thoughts. But yeah, I can't have you give him a message. That's not for me to communicate with him.
Yeah, you're the prosecutor. You're trying to prosecute him.
Right. Right. And so it's not uncommon that family members or other people will talk to the defendant, talk to his lawyer, say, hey, I heard that this was the offer, I'd love him to take it, or I don't want him to take it. I mean, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I could tell him or try to convince him, I would, to tell him to take the probation. But the only thing is I would tell him about the whole probation part is the whole sex offender things. And I myself, I would fight too. I would fight to not have that labeled on me,
Yeah, I get it. And at the end of the day, that's going to be his decision. He's going to have to make it on his own to say, well, do I risk it? Do I risk a trial? Because if he goes to trial and he's convicted, I'll be honest, I see no way a judge would give him probation after a full trial. I see her sending him to prison. And I think, and his lawyer probably has even told him that. So, yeah, it's a gamble. It's up to him. It's his decision.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm only his wife, and I feel bad because if it wasn't for me if it wasn't for me going down there, he wouldn't be in this mess. He wouldn't have to come look for me and figure out where I was. You know, like, it's just frustrating. You know?
I understand that, and I understand that you feel so somewhat, guilty that he got involved. And
well, yeah, because this is not his fault. That's why I can't stress it enough. Because had he not met me and had I told him the truth up front, when we first met, he probably wouldn't be with me. You know? And most people, like I said, I struggle with it because people judge me, and
I hope you see too, Jessica, that I really am giving him an opportunity here to do probation, to do something, good, even though he's been to prison. I mean, a lot of times when people have been to prison, like on that robbery charge, and they commit new crimes like this, that's why his what I told you before, his presumptive sentence, every case gets like a number and a letter, and he falls on this grid that a judge uses to sentence people that he should be going to prison for 40 months at least.
And how long?
For me to give him what's called a downward departure to probation is not normal, but under all the circumstances and what his lawyers in the past and Gail Ryder now have shared with me, I was willing to offer him a chance at the probation. If he completes his probation and gets everything done and doesn't get in trouble or violate his probation, after the term is done, he's done. I mean, he won't be looking at a prison sentence. Now, if he pleads and he's on probation and he violates his probation by, committing new crimes or, not doing what the PO is telling him to do or whatever it is, then he could be sent to prison.
So it's like a suspended sentence then?
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, it's like, well, I mean, it's not, excuse me, a plea offer, I could say if it was just probation, but it's a probation, but then it's a catch, it's a suspended sentence, it's like, well, I see.
The judge has to do that because he's on our guidelines. It's not going to mean much to you, but I'll tell you, they're both level 8 crimes, and he is a B as in boy on the grid. So an 8B is a 35 to 40 month prison sentence. So if the judge departs and gives him probation, the judge has to have that amount of time hanging over his head. So that's what his sentence is. They say we're suspending a 35 to 40 month prison sentence while you're on this probation. If you complete your probation, get everything done, great, you're done. After the term is over, you're no longer on probation,
but he would
you'll
still
never look at that prison sentence.
But he would still have to register as a sex offender, even though his 36 months of probation is done.
Yes, there would still be that requirement, and again, that's up to his lawyer to talk to him about.
Yeah, I honestly,
registration.
Honestly, I would fight too, because if you're gonna, if you're gonna go to trial and you're still gonna send me for 40 months, either way, he's still asked out because if he's on probation, he's still got a suspended sentence of 40 months to still become a sex offender for something that he didn't promote because I'm the one that did it, and.
Yeah, and he very well may just say, let's just go to trial because he doesn't want to do it, and that's fine. And then it's up to the jury. I mean, we'll all present all the evidence on both sides, and then the jury will get to decide, whether he's guilty or not. And like I said, if he goes to trial though, because of his criminal history and other things, we had filed what's called a Blakely notice, meaning we would seek aggravating factors to give him a longer sentence. And so technically, he could get, those two sentences, they could double from 40 to 80 on each and get 160 months or so in prison.
Right, but I do have a question. Can you explain to me how I'm a victim and how I'm a witness at the same time when I committed when I've committed a crime? I've never known a victim to be a victim.
So you're a defendant for prostituting yourself.
Right.
But you're a victim of his, and I know you disagree with me, but just hear me out. You're a victim of him promoting you. So even though you were doing it as well, he's also involved in having you do this.
He's
promoting you.
He's not involved.
Okay, Jessica, remember, we're not going to agree on that. So
no, because you're trying to say that you're explaining it to me, but he was not involved, and you just said I promoted and did this. I prostituted myself. So isn't that promoting myself if I prostituted myself? And if you charged me because you had enough evidence to charge me as a prostitute because I promoted and advertised myself on Backpage, yes or no?
I can't charge. No, the answer is no. I can't charge you with promoting yourself. So by law, the promoting prostitution statute is that someone else is doing that.
He didn't.
And so I can only charge you with the actual prostitution. I can't charge you with promoting, even though you might be technically in definition language, non-legal language. You are doing your own promotion of your conduct by going on Backpage, doing your ads, doing your,
Right. So let me ask you this: do you guys have proof and evidence that Matthew Mayfield Johnson Jr. had promoted these ads for me? Because from what it looks like, the police report is all me. How Roger Smith explained how he contacted me the night before, tried to open an investigation, closed it, talked to me, came in, set up a time, my pictures, my ad, my website. So where is it linking? Where is it linking to him?
His stuff that it shows that he was on there and accessing one of your ads to add or fix or do something to it. He was altering it.
He was not. No, he wasn't.
Well, that's some of the evidence that we have.
So hold on. So you telling me that before the police had came in, they went on my computer, and when I was about to make a new ad, they tried to use that? Because technically everything on my computer was shut down because they asked me how to get into my laptop. And that's why on the notes it said Moneymaker 5, because that was the password that I gave to them, because I knew those were my laptops, not his. He didn't promote me. There's no emails from his phone, Gmail account, for his Android accounts that needs a Gmail account. There's no emails soliciting saying that he went on Backpage.com in the Portland section of the adult entertainment for escorts to promote my ad. He didn't do that.
Okay, well, and even without that, he's still promoting.
Promoting is his intent, or knowingly know that a prostitute was prostitution. He didn't know I was going down there to do what I was doing. He went down there to go look for me because I told him I was in Salem. I told him I was at the Shiloh Inn. I told him I was with my friend Angela. I didn't tell him what I was down there for. I didn't know he was actually going to come down here. I thought he was lying. And he came, and then that was it. I didn't tell him I had somebody coming. I didn't tell him that. That was none of his business because I knew it was going to cause nothing but friction and arguments and all of that, so I didn't tell him. So he did not know. He didn't know or anything of that. That's what's frustrating, because it's like y'all trying to say he knew or knowingly or intently knew that a prostitute was going to engage in a prostitution activity, when really, how can you know something when somebody doesn't tell you? There's no evidence from his phone or laptops proving that these are his laptops, that he promoted me on Portland Backpage or any other escorting sites, because I know that's not true, because I'm the one that did it. That's why it was easy for you to prosecute me as a prostitute, because all the evidence was laid out there.
It's his own statement, and it's the fact that he's in the room with you, and what he says.
I don't think
his role is there.
I don't think the jury's going to find him guilty, because they know that you charged me with a prostitute, and I'm the one that who marketed myself and made all the advertisements. Anybody can say anything when you're underneath any type of medications that you're not supposed to be taking. I mean, they knew we had. Well, I had a whole bunch of weed on me, but I had a right to have weed. So I mean, at the end of the day, they should have known that he didn't do that. I was smoking. I was getting high. I was the one that was doing what I was doing. He came and didn't know. I didn't tell him. I don't think I should have told him. And now I wish I did, because if I did, maybe he wouldn't have been in this situation. And maybe you guys would actually listen to what I have to say and know that he didn't do this. Like, he did not promote me. So
okay, Jessica, well.
So would it be fair if your wife is selling drugs and you had this prescribed pills, and even though she knew what it was for, would it be fair for you to get charged for possession and delivery for your wife's action?
The problem is that he has a cell phone with text messages trying to sell his oxy.
Okay, but it didn't happen in or on that day in that county.
Yeah, see, and I know you talked with him because that's his same argument. And the judge already ruled that yes, I can show that any.
Okay, so is Nicholas Peterson coming to the court to testify, since you guys are saying that he sold to Nick when Nick lives in Gresham, and I was down there and he was down there that morning. So when did he deliver to Nicholas Peterson? Because that's what.
See, and that's why I'm a lawyer and you're not, Jessica. This is called a constructive delivery.
Duh. And that's my point to you. I tried to make to you earlier. Joint possession, which means him and I had jointly possession. So why did you not charge me with possession? If you're trying to get him for delivery because of text messages when the possession wasn't in him. And it's constructive because it wasn't physically on him. I know the rules.
Constructive delivery means he doesn't have to actually
have it on him.
Deliver it to anybody.
You're right. I know that. So again, you did not charge me with actual possession because it was on me in my property, in my purse. He should only get constructive possession because it wasn't on him physically. If you're going to try to say possession through jointly, well, you mischarged me because you didn't charge me with possession of oxycodones because they was doing a narcotic and prostitution sting, and that's illegal. I'm not supposed to have somebody else's prescribed pills on me when it's not mine. Kind of quiet there.
We've already discussed this.
Because you know I'm right. Because you know I'm right. You know I'm right. That's
no,
what you.
You're not right.
I am right. How am I not right when that's the rule? That's the possession rule. Should I read it? Should I read it to you?
Jessica, I don't think we're gonna get anywhere.
No, because it's wrong. What is it's wrong? The law. If you're trying to claim you're a lawyer, right? If you're a lawyer and you know the rules, then the possession is this. You're either gonna have there's two kinds of possession: actual and constructive. Don't make it seem like because I don't have my degree or certification in lawyer that I don't know the rules. Possession is either actual or constructive. Actual is when the actual possession has to have it on that actual person physically. Constructive is when you have it not on your actual physical being. And you guys know that, and you're trying to hide that from the jury. That he had it jointly.
They're going to hear that the drugs were in your purse.
Right, because possession. The term possession means to have physical custody or otherwise to exercise dominion or control over property. The term possess includes two types of possession, actual and constructive. A person has actual possession of property when the person...
You don't need to read it to me.
Well, obviously you don't, because I'm reading it to you and I'm stating you straight facts and you're trying to deny it when that's the rule. So why didn't you charge me with possession if we had it joint? Two or more persons may be in possession of the same thing when they have the power and intent to control it jointly.
Part of it, my job is that we have discretion as to what we charge people with and who we charge.
Right, you picked and choose what you wanted to charge.
No, it's
yes,
not,
it
it's
is.
not black and white like that.
That's the law. That's what it says right there.
Yeah, you're a prostitute, so I charged you with that.
Oh, because it was so easy for you.
In your purse.
Because it was so easy for you to charge me as a prostitute, but I had actual possession of somebody else's prescribed pills that was not prescribed to me by a physician.
You're a victim.
I'm not a victim.
Well, you say you're not, but I say you are.
I don't care what you say because I'm not a victim. I'm not being abused. I'm not being mentally abused. There's no type of there's no type of intimidation. Nobody's put their hands on me. Nobody's cut me. Nobody's making me do anything but Jessica Uriah Johnson.
Okay, so Jessica, we were in a good place, and I thought we were done, and now it's devolving into another argument, which I don't want to do.
Because you don't want to see it for what it's worth. You want to beat around it, but that's okay. Because if you guys convict him, then he can appeal it, and there's other resources around it.
Yeah, no, he has appeal rights and all of that. Yeah.
I know how to law. Why you think I don't know it? But that's okay.
I didn't say you didn't.
I'm not a lawyer. You're pretty much saying I don't know the law.
Okay,
obviously you're done, so you can go. That's fine. I know you've got better things to do than argue with the prostitute that you feel is a victim.
Okay, well.
Okay, bye.
I didn't say that, you said that.
Well, I mean, you said it in so many ways. Like you said, you're a prostitute. I charge you with the prostitution. But I had drugs on me, but your officers did a narcotic controlled substance and prostitution sting. There goes your ace hole in one. You got the prostitute, and you had the prostitute that had the drugs on her that she wasn't supposed to have. But okay, it's the injustice system, because the system is corrupted.
Okay. Well, I'll let you know when
I'll see you in trial. I'll see you in trial. That's all I have to say. I'll see you in trial.
Sounds good. All right. Bye-bye.